Hi, this is Molly from Gold Systems. I work on the AWQMS support team, and in this video today we will be going over a cross-tab export. So I'm going to go ahead and go to Export, and I'm going to scroll down and find our cross-tab. I'll click Default Search Criteria, and I'm going to go ahead and choose Utah Division of Oil, Gas, and Mining. You could also select individual monitoring locations if you were interested in specific monitoring locations, but just checking the organization will make a crosstab/Excel export for all of Utah's monitoring locations. So I could do individual, but I've opted to just select the organization. If you are interested in certain types, you could select a certain type. If not, you could just leave it general. There's watershed management unit, ecoregions, but we're going to move on to other search criteria. I am going to go ahead and do discrete results. There is the option to do biological, continuous metrics, and indices. In our case, we are interested in discrete results. And then I'm going to go ahead and choose a date range. You could do an absolute date range, so a minimum date and a maximum date, or a relative, so the past however many years, or you could even do months, weeks, days. I'll go ahead and do the past 10 years, so we pull a good amount of data. You can also include a period within the relative time frame, so if you are interested in a specific sampling period within the past 10 years, you could check this box and then set your months how you would like to. The next thing we'll need to fill out is either an activity category or an activity type. You can see when activity category is selected, activity type is grayed out. It's one or the other. Activity type will list out each activity type, whereas activity category will kind of group all those activity types and make the list a little bit simpler. So if you wanted to look at field measurements or lab results, or we could check all. So I'll go ahead and check all. And for result status, it's defaulted to look at accepted, final, provisional, unreviewed, and validated. You could always change this, but if you check all, you'll know you'll get all the results available to you. Projects is not required. How you can tell what's required on a page in AWQMS is if it has an asterisk, then that means that field is required. So I don't have to fill out projects, but if you were interested in a specific one, you would go ahead and hit this refresh button. And now you get the projects available to you based on your past criteria. So if you were only interested in the Skyline mine or the Hidden Valley, you could select it here, or you could pull all the data. Let's go ahead and let's do Skyline. And then for media, I'll go ahead and select water. That is required. Again, project isn't required, but I figured we'd just pull data for one mine. If I scroll down, nothing else is required. If you were interested in a certain media subdivision, so for example, if you take groundwater and surface water at Skyline, but you're just interested in groundwater, you could further define your criteria here, but I'm going to go ahead and leave it blank and move on to parameters. I'll click refresh parameter list, and here are my parameters. So you could select what you're interested. You could select them all, whatever you would like to look at. I'll go ahead. Let's look at pH. Maybe we want to look at temperature of water as well. You could look at many as you want or as few as you want. We'll look at conductivity as well. So maybe I've just opted to look at those three. So then I would go ahead and move on to options. It's defaulted to include results that are below detection/quantification limits and include results that are above quantification limits. You can always turn those defaults off. This is where you decide what you want to group by. So over at Utah Oil, Gas, and Mining, they actually recommend that you group the rows by not only the date, but also the monitoring location ID. So if you want to go ahead and check that, they feel that makes for a really meaningful analysis. And here, it's just group columns by parameter name and measurement unit. It lets us know that result comments will be placed in an Excel comment, which is only visible when you hover over the result value cell in Excel. If there are more than one result per cell, then the results will be averaged and the comment will represent the collective comments from all results. Know that you can change any of what I have set up, but this is just something that UT-OGM feels like makes for a meaningful analysis. Here, we're going to not keep how we're rounding the depth. We're not even looking at depth, and we're also not going to round values, but no, you can. So I'll go ahead and click Export Data, and this gives us an Excel file, which is our cross-tab export. So you can see we grouped it by date and monitoring location ID. And this is what it looks like. You get the value as well as the end value. And yeah, if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out.